I almost feel like it was a mistake. Yesterday I went and looked at the book to figure out how much elevation I have. 700 meters, oh my God. That's brutal. So it's gonna be a big day. At least I know everything I'm gonna deal with, but yeah, that's a lot of punishment on the body. First thing I gotta do though is finish getting myself out of bed here. And well, that means pulling on some wet things, right? And I gotta finish exploring this trail. Off to a good start. Man, wonderful. Another wonderful blue sky day. All right, so had a quick snack. I'm just gonna take off right now and go and get this 6 kilometers taken care of. And then I'll come back, take a bit more time for breakfast. I mean, that way I can take everything down while the oatmeal is cooling and stuff. The oatmeal is what take all the time, right? It is. So, and yeah, that's a nice little trick. Make the oatmeal, it just takes a while. Even in, in my old Jep oil, it used to take forever to cool off. But even in this new pot that sheds heat a lot faster, it still takes a while. So, well, I mean, I kind of had a look at this yesterday, but not much. I was just looking around for, just trying to see what the hell was going on around here. So first thing, let's check out the cabin. Alrighty. I like the sign. That's pretty cool. Seen a lot of cabins with nice new tin roofing. Not this one. This one needs love. That's for sure. Tin roofing does make sense. I mean, it'll last for way longer than the wood stuff. An outhouse, tack shed down there with a window. I'm gonna go check that out. Not a bad looking view, Lake is very wonderful, very still this morning. Pretty basic cabin though. Let's see. See anything on the tack shed? Not really. Some barrels and stuff. Oh, the camera can actually see better than I can. Guess they're not having problems with grizzlies with this one because there's no nails or anything sitting here. This looks pretty decent shape though. Oh, the lake's beautiful right now. Wow. Sheesh. There's glaciers. It's pretty sweet. This would be an awesome place to hang out. Well, trail has its share of alders and willows down across it, right beside a warden cabin too. They really don't want to clean that stuff up, do they? Walk along this thing for a while. Apparently this trail is pretty straightforward. And there's an abandoned cabin down here someplace. Not far from the intersection that I'm aiming for, which of course is the turnoff for Dolomite Creek crossing and Siffler River. All right, keep an eye out for some kind of water source too. I mean, they could just take out of the lake. I don't see that very often with cabins, but the rare time it does. I mean, These cabins were built back in the site, the original site anyway for these cabins was, they figured them out in back in the 30s and 40s and 50s. They weren't always concerned with Jarda. Trail's opening up a little bit. What a beautiful morning. I've hiked away Isabella Lake. It's not as big as it seems on the maps. Maybe that's part of it down there. Down by the cabin is the only clear shot you get, unless you're gonna head off trail. I'm almost halfway. Just gotta, you see the ridge of trees? I'm going down to the end. That's where I turn up and go up Sifler Valley. And it's also where this creek goes and joins up with Sifler River. It's a rare shot of the stuff hanging out over top the cabin. I don't know how many, back in the days when wardens hung out here, I wonder how many actually went up that ridge and stood on top. That's one of those things that only wardens would do, right? I mean, most other people, it is not worth coming all the way out here just to go and do something small like that. They want to go do, you know, something named, a mount or whatever. The small stuff is probably mostly just wardens that have ever done it. You're wondering why I'm doing this. It's because I'm a self-admitted trail junkie. Doesn't help that I was supposed to see this, but I had to turn north up the Sifler Wilderness area just to try and keep safety in check. But yeah, I'm hiking 6 kilometers before I go hike 21 and a half or 22, whatever it is. Once I get down here, it will be 25 kilometers out and 700 meters. That's where it starts from down here. It's only like 20 meters difference between this one and the cabin. So yeah, I mean, I may have gone lightweight, but I've definitely put new demands on myself, right? So in some ways, this hasn't been any easier on the body this year. But, you know, this is what I like doing. I like trying to see everything, right? There's an abandoned cabin down here too. I mean, come on. I'm not gonna leave that. Love that kind of thing. I found the cabin. It's a good 20 meters off trail. I'm just gonna head down. There's only 400 meters until I get to the end. And I'll see if there's, while I'm heading down, I'm gonna scout for a kind of a better trail over there so I don't have to bushwhack. Because there probably is one. In that case, I'll just catch it on the way back, right? So this is already looking more clear. This is probably an easier way to get to it. All right, don't mean to put you on hold here. I'm gonna go finish this off quick. It's only 400 meters down to the end here. There. Little camera here. This is where I went a week ago. This is a nice part of the trail. I'm gonna get some water out of this. I mean, it's better if water is moving. I mean, it's the same water that's in the lake, but I haven't seen a single water source. So, not bad. All right, it's probably better here than it is coming out over there where the main channel is. Purified one, leave the other one for cooking. It gives me some fresh drinking water in a half hour. If I do that, I tend to try to make it the blue one. Try to have different color bottles, right? It's easy to keep track of what you've kind of done with them. Okay, the journey starts now. 25 kilometers, 700 meters climb. I'll break it up into little pieces. That's the way to do it, right? First thing, I'm gonna go and check out that cabin that's just up there. And then about 2.5 more kilometers to my camp, have some breakfast, have some coffee, and then sadly put the full load on. Not that it's very heavy. And yeah, one thing at a time. One of the toughest things is right away, right? The mud flats. And then of course I got an insane amount of climbing coming up. This is in amazing shape. How long has this thing been abandoned? Roof is still up. There's an old bed frame. I feel safe walking in here. An old bottle. Yeah, classic Sufflen Adolf Schmitten, whatever, God, German of some kind. Weinbow. 1618. Okay, well, that's obviously the inception of the company. There's a mushroom. There's definitely a squirrel or chipmunk making, yeah, 2 beds. There's even the old mattress. See, you got all this old grass clippings or whatever, old hay in here. Wow. Doesn't look too warm, does it? I mean, look at this. Big holes. I mean, did someone put this here? It's kind of weird, honestly. There's not really oh, what are you? Ugh. Biscuits. Fruit, Alberta. Okay. Obviously there's no stove or anything in here. Huh. Dolomite warden cabin. Huh, look at that. Cool. Well, I can certainly understand being a cabin here, right? It's a major crossroads down there. At least it would have been once upon a time. For some reason they decided to abandon this and make Isabella warden cabin instead. It won't be long before this is made with solid timber, but because it's heavy, you know what's probably saved this is all the holes. So the snow, it can't gather as much, right? Then it melts, it trips down. If it was melting and heavy snow, like 2 feet of snow on this, that'd be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but it's able to melt down through. That's probably why the roof's still there. How cool is this? Dolomite cabin. Well, there's an old ladder. I certainly wouldn't want to step on it. And even the old shutter for the window, still there. Still holding up its end of the bargain. There's some of the old flue. Cool. Sort of kicking myself again. It really is a lot in 2 days. About 1,200 meters of climb between the 2 days and 50 kilometers. Most of it backpacking. Yeah. It's silly to think about this on trail. I can kick myself, but the decisions have been made and nothing I can do about it, right? I have a big long day in front of me of tough trail and tons of climb, and I just have to break it up in little pieces. You look at that 2-day big picture stuff, it's just more kicking on myself, so I just break it up in pieces. First thing, get back to camp. I guess you can see this one a little better from here. I always got to come back to basics, you know. It's an outstanding day. I could not have picked 2 better days to be out here. If I had come through that sloppy, nasty weather, first time I was here, I wouldn't have seen anything. I would have just been trudging. So this is just the fact that I can see this valley in 2 days of just splendor is awesome. It's worth it. I don't think I'm going to come down and get water out of this. Looks pretty crappy. Oh, so beautiful. Well, I guess that means goodbye to Isabella cabin, because I don't think I'm coming this direction again. All right, it's noon. Got everything done. Got all the food in me, got sunscreen on. I just need some good water. I'm gonna get it at the first crossing I'm gonna arrive to there. There's a real nice water source going down to Dolomite Creek. And that's kind of the first thing I gotta take care of, right? Is getting there. The mud flats. Yeah. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat that. That's the hardest part. I mean, I don't know, all that climbing, but as far as the actual trail, that part is brutal. That part sucks. Anyway, I'll get it all out of the way early. All right, here we go. So, nice view from here. I honestly couldn't pay attention to these yesterday. I was just racing against the darkness, but it is nice. The cabin is showing 900 meters over here. The other side of the mud flats that I did make a note of on my phone is, let me see here. It's 1.4 over there. So you deal with all kinds of crap for 1.4 kilometers. My feet already wet. I mean, they're dry. So this is still a little bit, you know. But, well, I guess I could go on to here. This would be the trail, not that thing, I think. By not worrying about my feet getting wet, I will save a bunch of time today because I won't actually take them off. Take my shoes off or anything, right? So I can just go crashing through this as long as it has a solid bottom. You know, there's not a bunch of mud. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot faster than trying to dance around, crash through bush. All right, so this part was night. Here it's up here is flooded again. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crap I got to deal with. A lot of climbing along the sides. And I mean, none of this looks nice to walk through. My feet are wet. If this was just rock, if it was nice, great. But it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look nice at all. It looks like garbage. So it wouldn't make things any easier. No surprises, I guess. Eventually the trail just goes into kind of deeper stuff. You can see it a little bit there. I think this is the part where I went over here and got lost in the woods for a little while, trying to follow game trails and stuff. Either way, I'll just stay on the right side. I know where to go. I know when I come back to a real trail again. What we got here? Big old knife. It doesn't even retract. Aren't these knives illegal? A knife that doesn't retract in any way, shape, or form. There's nowhere for it to go. Well, it fell out of somebody's sheath or holster. What the fuck, man? Yeah, that's a weird thing to bring into a national park where you can't shoot anything. I mean, what are you gonna do with this? Are you gonna stab a bear? All right then. Well, probably just ended up making some trouble for myself, but I decided that this stuff here looked pretty good, so decided to beat my way down. Naturally, there's a pretty big, deep part in between this and that. Well, you know, Gotta do something to make things a little more interesting. So this trail was probably built by outfitters, equestrians, parties, right? That's why this part sucks, because they don't mind walking down this. They don't care. The horses don't care about getting their hooves wet. And so even in the 1980s, it talks about how it sucks, right? There may be some little trail over there, but that's what happens when equestrians aren't building us a trail. The hikers just have some piece of crap. The parks never bother to build anything for us over there. And this is what you end up with. So makes you appreciate all the trails that the equestrian built, because otherwise we'd end up with something crappy in the forest where you're jumping stuff and doing all kinds of garbage. As you can see, I'm still walking and not really too worried about crossing some things. Looking back, goodbye valley. Feel like I'm not going to see much of it now as I come here. Here's a nice part of it. I'm not even sure if I walked on this last time because I don't remember it. But this is perfect rock flats to walk on. Okay. I have almost inadvertently gone rocketing past where the trail is. So I checked my phone. I mean, I remember this is where the start of this crap is, right? And I made a marking down here. So follow this. I know there's a rock pile of some kind. This part here was easy. If you cross here and just go like kind of dance through the rocks, it's not bad at all. Okay. Once I find the rock pile, then I should be able to find the trail on the other side and I should be off and running. Pretty. All right, I crossed the creek where it was convenient, started walking down here. It's pretty easy. And down to where I know where the trail, I knew the trail was closer to the river, right? And here we go. That went way faster than yesterday. I mean, yesterday the surprise and me just trying to get to the camp, and it was, yeah. But today that I was, I dealt with that way easier. It was, I mean, a lot of it I was able to walk on the rocks because I knew I didn't have to worry too much about keeping the trail. I mean, it makes a big difference to make waypoints on your phone, right? And then you have that fallback. You can just not sweat it when you're walking back. Okay, awesome. First obstacle of the day taken care of. And now I got some nice, easy distance to cover. Here we go. I'm at the first of my Dolomite Creek crossings. Such a beautiful spot here. I mean, this is a pretty awesome place to camp too. You don't mind the drone of the river. I mean, you're 5 kilometers farther up trail than Isabella Lake, so you got a nice little jump on doing Dolomite Pass. Okay, I'm gonna take water out of this thing. I'm gonna get my knees in the water, get a few things done. Okay, got my stuff done. Got 2 liters of water for going over the pass, which should be okay for me. There's plenty of water sources on the other side. All right, it's like 3.3 kilometers to the next crossing, and it is a rugged 3.3. Up, down, left, right, climb, descent. Got to go up a stream. That'll be easier now that I have wet feet. I'll just hammer up. I won't worry about stuff. But yeah, I mean, waypoints, right? The first crossing, that was a waypoint. Now the second crossing. Each one's gonna get tougher than the next. And from what I remember, I counted up last night in my head. After that second crossing, there is like 4 rock walls. Not rock walls, but head walls. So yeah, and the first one is probably the hardest, right after that crossing. Anyway, it's a way of dividing things up, right, into conquerable obstacles. Well, that still wasn't very fun, but it was easier with wet shoes. It's about 200 meters you follow this thing, right? I believe I'm done. It looks like the trail is coming back into the forest and away. This part here, you go away from the river, climbing up over some hill, and now actually looking down on this. I think the creek comes out of this. Definitely still some climb on this one. There's some elevation gained, no question there. This is such a beautiful sight. Like, look at the view you get even. It's a wonderful spot. And I mean, look at all the flat. You can set up 3 or 4 tents here, no problem. I mean, I love the park for putting up Isabella and Siffler, but honestly, there's not much for flatness in those 2 spots. All right, I think I got about 700 meters until the second crossing, so I think I want to push to that. Take a nice break, and then that'll be a big ass climb. Second crossing. Well, it'll be easier now than when I did it with my bare feet, I'll tell you that much. All right, it's got a good grip on this phone. Just can't see this silly Dolomite. You just can't see where you're stepping on. All right, that's about halfway. Careful of holes, right? Using my my poles to try and suss out a little bit. Without the camera, I would actually have it right in front of me, like exactly where I'm going to step. But obviously, I'm not feeling too rough about that. Okay, go over here where there's a flat spot and plenty of a place to sit. This is your last random camping opportunity here, and then after that, it's into the pass. Yeah. I should correct myself. I don't know what Alice Lake is like, but maybe there's no cover there. And you can camp at a dozen places in the camp pass, you just zero cover. So anyway. All right. Had some water, had a snack, try to keep my energy up. Head wall number 1. It's just like zoop, 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 zoop. Like that. It's a steep bastard. Nice thing about the zigzags is every corner you stop and take a little standing break, right? Oh. Okay. Look back on the valley I conquered. Climbing certainly doesn't stop, but I mean, it's nice to divide up things into 4 head walls, right? Be done with this one, and just up here, it's quite the big boulder there, standing just so. There, that one's tough. That big boulder, there's just the little top of it. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I need to consider this a head wall, but you can see I am climbing some more. I got all 4 head walls done. I mean, the 4th one is the ridge above, in between Helen and Catherine Lake. and then it's a steep descent to Helen Lake, and then after that I feel like I'd be basically home free. Oh, look at this. See, this is the second head wall. Damn. And so you can see I still got some hiking to do before I even get to it. Completely forgot until 5 minutes ago that I have to pick my way along these rocks for, I don't know, 100 meters or so. Here it's fine. Up there is when you go across boulders. And then I can hit the second head wall. On the way here though, I thought I saw a bypass trail. That would be for horses, because they don't like having horses go across those rocks. And look what I see here. My feet are wet. I mean, as far as I know, this just pops out over there. My feet are wet, so honestly, I don't give a crap about crossing Dolomite right here. So, you know what? Why not? Let's go check it out. Here we go. I thought so. Look how nice this trail is. It's a bypass for the horses. Okay, first of all, what a nice, wonderful new perspective on this waterfall in the sun. Sheesh. How cool is that? Okay. Second of all, I look over here and I have found a new prospective camp, random camp spot. I think unknown to a lot of people. Look at you. How funny is that? You've been used lately? Sure look like you have. Definitely. This trail keeps on going. Water source is, well, garbage. I mean, that's your water source. But still, you know. Cool. So this is, I mean, yeah. I keep finding, I found another random camp spot. There's cover, there's a view. Pretty cool, man. My last chance for shade for at least 5 kilometers, I'd say. Ah, that is so cool. Look how just part of this is in the sun. Just a little. That's pretty sweet. Had a nice break over there. Just had to work my way down here and cross this so that I could skip out dealing with that water again. Now I have to find the trail. Keep walking up here, I think basically until, or into this until I find rocks. There's 2 trails here. You can actually see kind of both of them, so it's not super hard to figure out where it is. Well, I'm not done yet. I mean, I'm not done until I get to that, reach that top where I can see like 200-300 meters in front of me. I can basically see the beginnings of Dolomite Pass. So there's more to go, but this one's not as nasty as far as like steepness, that's for sure. I think from that little random camp over there, if you're not too worried about your shoes, you could walk right up this and right up to that. Wouldn't that be a very cool little night stroll? Check out these pinnacles. Yeah, that'd be pretty sick. There. Woo! Oh. I got the trail here. I'm going to use that. Of course, I was just here yesterday, but this doesn't get old. Spellbinding. I mean, how amazing to just walk into this. It's good to try and stay on trail. I mean, there's another one that kind of goes over there, but hey, you know, I don't want to, not too many people back here, but still, don't want to tramp things down too much. Yeah, if you don't mind crossing there, you get yourself a nice little trench basically all the way through this thing. All right, this is head wall number 3, probably the easiest of the bunch. It's just climbing up to Dolomite Pass. Took a break. I've been taking a break before every head wall. I call them head walls, they're just climbs. And then I've been able to do them with only taking standing breaks, so. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the 4th one. I think the last climb, head wall, is gonna be the hardest. Still gotta go up here, but that's probably at least half of it. There we go. This feels like probably the highest part. Oh, again, Catherine Lake. This is the 4th head wall in my mind, 125 meters in one shot. I think there's no doubt this will be the hardest. Eesh. There's 2 guys walking in front of me. I think they're just front country tourists who decided to go check out Dolomite Pass, which means they come down and go back up. Good for them. I don't think there's too many of those. I look over here, I see one prairie dog standing up. At least I think it's a prairie dog. Yeah. Look at this. I don't know how well you guys can see that on camera, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in my view right now. Jesus. Well, I'm not even looking at the camera. I hope I've had them in frame. Anyhow. I have to stop, put the pack down. I'm not going to get this one done with only standing brakes. Feel like I'm over half finished though. I've done at least 600 meters of climb today, probably more like 650 now. Body's tired, man. Oh, this is outstanding though. Sheesh. Oh, mostly got it beat. It is 5:30. 5:30. 5.5 hours for me to get here. Oh my God. Oh. After that 125 meter climb, then it's a 95 meter drop to Helen Lake. So that'll, after all the climb I've done, that's definitely a knee tester. And I have to just be careful, all right? I got most of it. Whew, I got most of it now. Here it levels out a lot. Dog leash. All right, well, this shouldn't be off anyway, probably. I'm gonna carry it over there. Maybe it belongs to one of those people. I don't know. I was just up there. It's nice to look back at the accomplishment. All right, let's get out of here. Such an amazing view to walk back to. Holy crap. Off the chain. Well, trail goes back down a bunch. And it goes shooting back up. So I figured I'd take a little break here. Rest the knees. See, look at this. So, climb ain't totally over. 95% done, but not totally. Well, this trail really is very nice. There wasn't much climb. It was over pretty fast. 300 meters I got to the corner, which basically you walk around this ridge and then back the other side. It's a nice way to finish off a tough day. One thing about a lot of trails is usually the last little bit is front country hiker territory, and they're nice. Sheesh, when I look back on this now, over there, went and climbed this ridge. I actually walked along it for a ways, and then went down the other side to Catherine Lake. Dolomite Peak. All right, I'm gonna get to the corner, and it's time to say goodbye to all that stuff. So, pretty cool hike, really. Very scenic, tons of great views. $700 meters from the car, and I'm contemplating taking another break. I am frickin' tired. Very tired. Well, coming down chit-chatting with two ladies, one from Italy, one from Toronto. Nothing wrong with that. That helps the time go by. That's for sure. But man, am I wiped. Sheesh. The lightweight backpacking, you know, I just put more stuff on myself in some ways. It's like, oh, I can do it, right? I mean, I go beast mode and I end up with these huge days, but yeah. I have 2 more backpacks coming up. Both of them are reasonable. It's the same plan that I made for these backpacks before I ever went lightweight, so she'll be all right. Anyway, pretty crazy valley, right? I mean, there's some tough spots, but you know, it's worth it. You're in a valley that no one, you know, people don't see much. It's quite nice, you know. And yeah, now I've wrapped up that backpack. Not the first time I've had to go and do another backpack to see what I wanted to see, right? When some other backpack went off the rails. Anyhow, get out there and hike.